Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 between Quantic and Liquid. As the series is tied up 1-1, if you have not watched the previous games, please check out the bottom left-hand corner where you will see links to both Games 1 and Game 2, because I will be spoiling them. But so far, this series has been very schizophrenic. As in Game 1, Liquid just managed to dominate Quantic. They used a very aggressive tri-lane to combat Quantic's tree pick, and Crux just managed to manhandle Funzy's Viper. But in Game 2, Quantic got their hands on Chaos Knight as well as Wisp, and Liquid really never could recover once they got in a big deficit. So Liquid, they had the first choice. They're going to leave Wisp in the pool, as they're going to ban Batrider. And Quantic, on the other hand, going to ban Darkseer, so they want to get rid of that Team 5 presence as well as eliminating one of Bulba's trademark offlane heroes. And this could potentially set up a tree pick for Quantic. We'll see what Liquid decides to do. They might leave Tree as well as Wisp left in the pool and sort of force Liquid to choose one of the two poisons. And if Liquid, they can't really afford to give up Chaos Knight and Wisp once again, so Liquid might be forced to ban out one of those heroes right now. But if Wisp and Tree are left in the pool, rest assured Liquid will pick up the Wisp, and banning out the Darkseer means that Ion Shell won't be able to mitigate that huge bonus that Living Armor does give you. But so far, it's very difficult to tell, because again, only one ban have happened for both teams thus far. But yeah, this is going to be the third and final game of this series, and I will be trying to bring you every single game from this bracket playoffs. I know it'll be tough, but I want to do it, because again, starting Friday, I might not have enough time to do all the things I want to do, so might as well get through all this tournament. I will be uploading games as fast as I can, just so they won't get too dated. So hopefully you enjoy them, as Wisp will be banned by Team Liquid, and that's going to lead them to pick up Tree themselves if they do want to go for it, but still, it might be a bit tricky if they do decide to go for Tree, since they had so much difficulty in Game 1. Quantic played so very well. Even though they did have a Chaos Knight Wisp pairing, keep in mind, Quantic invented the Tree strat. Golblack was the pioneer of Treant, so I'm sure Quantic are very used to how to deal with the Tree. And it's just very tricky for Liquid. You can see, usually the team with the second ban are forced to ban Barret as well as this, but you can see this time Liquid are forced to ban those tiers, as Quantic gonna allow Liquid to pick up the Tree if they want. They're instead gonna ban the Visages, plus Visage again has just been so powerful these past couple games. Liquid instead gonna pick up a very stable carry in form of the Gyrocopter, but they're gonna allow Quantic to pick up the Tree, and if Quantic do decide to go for it. And one of the key components in terms of shutting down Treant in the first game was Liquid's usage of Visage as well as Crystal Main and Juggernaut to really take control of his lane. And meanwhile in this game, Visage has just been taken out of the pool by Quantic, so I'm a bit curious to see how Liquid will react this time without that nice bit of aggressive behavior from the Visage. The slow was pretty much the biggest deal, because Blade Fairy did all the damage as well as Crystal Main. But Liquid are gonna have to fight against a Treant pick, as Quantic gonna secure themselves, deciding that they have practiced too much with this hero. They're very well used to what this hero provides, and Quantic, will they pick up an OD? And that is a hero that Liquid have banned out consistently for Funzy in the middle lane, and so far Liquid have been able to take care of Funzy for the most part in the laning stage, but in Game 2, that Puck did manage to get his farm, and was able to play a factor, but still, the majority of damage was dealt by the Wisp as well as the Chaos Knight. So maybe Liquid are just simply not afraid of Funzy. They might rely on Korok to just outmaneuver him, or even TC, as Quantic gonna pick up the Lone Druid, so they will have the Barret equipped with Living Armor once they decide to go for pushes. And they will have very tanky heroes to deal with, so Liquid gonna have to look for some damage, and that has been a key theme in these past couple games. The team who loses just really lacks in damage output compared to the team who wins. And I know that sounds very basic and very duh, but that's just a fact of life. Because in Game 1, Liquid had all the damage and they just steamrolled Quantic. Meanwhile, in Game 2, Liquid had no damage and Quantic had more damage, even though they didn't have as impressive damage as Liquid did in Game 1, and they managed to beat Liquid, so we're going to have to see how Liquid decide to approach this lane, since Quantic had picked up two very tanky heroes, although they're not very damaging until Lone Druid does pick up a major item. And also curious will be, how will Quantic lane this? Will they put Lone Druid on the off lane and just try to deal with Liquid if Liquid does decide to run an aggressive challenge? Will they put Lone Druid in the safe lane and try to run an aggressive challenge themselves? It still remains to be seen. Heck, they could even put Lone Druid in the middle lane and put Treant in the off lane. But most likely Quantic will run a defensive challenge, put Lone Druid in the off lane, And if that's the case, and if Liquid are forced to run aggressive trying up against Treat in order to shut him down as best they can, then Lodred should have a field day up against whoever he is. So Liquid taking quite a bit of time to think about this next pick because they know this pick is of the utmost importance. Quantic can potentially get rid of a couple of heroes that Liquid might be relying on in order to take advantage of the game. And Liquid going to pick up the Shadow Demon, so now they have a safe way to set up an ability and set up a lot of damage, but still, Shadow Demon by himself does not do damage. He only amplifies the damage of his teammates with the Soul Catcher. I mean, sure, Poison does do quite a bit, but, I mean, you don't really level up Shadow Demon, Shadow Poison too often. Well, you do, so scratch that. I guess what I mean to say is, in Trial vs. Trial, Shadow Poison won't be leveled up sufficiently to become a huge influencing factor. Really smart ban by Quantic. They're going to get rid of the Juggernaut. They recognized one of the key components of Liquid's aggressive trial in the first game was that Juggernaut was just able to go and do whatever he wanted with the Blade Fury. And Shadow Demon, in conjunction with Juggernaut, could potentially do a lot of work as Liquid. They're expecting Funzy going to get rid of the Obsidian, or rather the Outworld Devourer OD, as it were. They know OD with living armor is just impossible to gank, and being impossible to gank removes OD's main weakness, other than his reliance on his opponents not picking up BKB. But so far, I feel like Quantic, I think their draft is a little bit more forgiving. They have very, very tanky heroes made on Liquid. Their heroes require a lot more executions. They're a bit squishier. They need a bit more time to farm up the Gyrocopter. Shadow Demon, I mean, if he doesn't get an early advantage, really just ends up dying quite a bit, even though he doesn't need that many items. And Shadow Demon in his last couple of weeks has just not been very successful. That base intelligence nerf, along with the fact that the Shadow Poison path no longer gives vision, has really, really hit him, it seems. But he's still a very, very flexible support, probably the most flexible support, which is why he's such a highly regarded support hero. You know, I love this ban from Quantic. They're going to mitigate some early pressure that Leshrac can do, and also Edict just obliterates through that living armor protection, since Edict just casts so many pulses, and living armor, it only has 7 damage instances, so it will just get melted by the Diabolic Edict. But Quantic just going to avoid that entirely, going to ban out the Leshrac. And they also got rid of the annoying Shadow Demon Leshrac combination that LG International used in their dominant run in G League, which just helped set them up for so many kills in the early game. So really smart ban by Quantic here. As Liquid gonna ban out the Bane once again. I don't think Quantic would have picked up the Bane since Bane just simply doesn't do enough damage. But getting rid of one of Golbak's favorite heroes is definitely gonna be very, very useful. And also, they want to make sure they have the advantage when they gank, because Bane Nightmare can certainly throw the mid soul on the other side for a loop. But Quantic, now we'll see what they decide to go for. I've got to imagine they're going to pick up the mid here with some of these next 2 picks, since I've got to imagine Lone Druid will be sent to the off lane to go up against Liquid. And Queen of Pain will be the choice for Quantic, so that is going to be the mid hero for Funzy. Probably the best mid solo left in the pool outside of Puck, and we'll see if Liquid immediately responds with a Puck choice themselves. But still, Puck up against Lone Druid and Treant Protector. Does he have enough damage to break through their really, really resilient hides? That remains to be seen. And also, even though it's a land environment, Puck does do pretty well up against Queen of Pain when the pings are even. If Queen of Pain is pulled enough, her better attack animation, better damage output, and the fact that she herself can cancel her attack animations and her spellcasting animations might throw Puck for a bit of a loop. So I'm not too sure what Liquid will decide to choose. My guess is Puck in these next 2 choices, but again, it remains to be seen, as Liquid desperately needs some damage. I mean, Gyrocopter can do pretty well against Train because Rocket Barrage does melt through the living armor, but still, you don't want to have to give up 7 hits of Rocket Barrage in order to just negate living armor. You want to have those rockets hit. As Liquid going to pick up the Nature's Prophet, so they're going to get themselves a very strong split pusher. But where's the damage going to be in the early game? I don't really like this Nature's Prophet choice whatsoever. I would have rather preferred something like a Clockwork, which can at least restrict the movement on the side of Quantic, but then again, up against Queen of Pain and Lone Druid Tree, won't really be able to do enough. So it looks like Liquid are sort of forced to play for the late game, and Quantic, meanwhile, have a nice mixture of early and mid game, and is Quantic going to pick up the Weaver? As man, this is a really, really annoying line being picked up by Quantic, as now they have Weaver with Living Armor to just Shikuchi and disrupt Quantic, or disrupt Liquid in a Trial vs Trial matchup. And now I think Quantic will force a Trial vs Trial situation, and we're gonna have to see how Liquid responds. But yeah, Weaver does scale very well to all stages of the game, and he can potentially do quite a bit of damage, as, I mean, he will be able to survive for so long. And all he needs is a little bit of mana, so we'll see if Quantic decide to pick up something like Keeper of Light to fuel his mana relentlessly, or if they're going to pick up some other support with their last choice. But I really like this Weaver choice, since Liquid, they really have nothing to lock Weaver in place. You can use Purge after Shikuchi is ended, but Shikuchi will be back up in 4 seconds, and then Weaver can just do whatever he wants. And until Bulba picks up a Hex or an Orchid, that Weaver will be able to continue to do what he wants, no matter the situation in Teamfight as Liquid. Gonna finally get some early game pressure in the form of Enchantress, but I don't know if this is gonna be enough up against a Weaver and a Queen of Pain. These heroes are just gonna be so difficult to catch, and they're gonna be so tanky once you do catch them that I don't know if Liquid actually has enough damage to bring these heroes down. But it all depends on Nature's Prophet. If Enchantress and his team can apply enough pressure to the towers, that might help Nature's Prophet pick up a really fast Mice and then really help out his Hex or Orchid Rush and really try to get Liquid back in the game. But so far Liquid really weak in terms of the early game. But this Enchantress choice is definitely going to help them out, because now, again, like I mentioned, they're going to have a way to pressure the enemy team's towers, and they have a way to combat some of Quantic's early game potential, because Enchantress, a very strong jungler from level 1, because she can pick up multiple creeps and does have a nice attack animation, do quite a bit of rest, and keep in mind, Tree and Protector Living Armor at level 1, not really the most impressive thing. All it does is give you 4 HP regen per second and blocks 7 instances of 20 damage, which is less than a physical hit. Meanwhile, Quantic gonna bat the Slark. Slark up against Queen of Pain is actually a bit of an easier matchup for Slark than you otherwise might expect, because if Slark can force Queen of Pain to use the blink, then Slark could potentially get a very easy kill, so Quantic gonna just remove that from possibility, get rid of the Slark. Meanwhile, Liquid gonna bat the Crystal Main. Don't want to give Quantic any more early game potential than they already have. But still, there are a lot of support stuff in the pool. We'll see what Quantic decides to go for here. Maybe something like Alina? Well, maybe not. Maybe they want somebody a bit more reliable than somebody like Alina, since their only method of controlling people in the trial is Leech Seed, which you won't really pick up till level 2, but Quantic can instead pick up the Lich, and this is not going to be an off-lane Lich, this is going to be a support Lich, and that is going to deny Liquid so much experience, and Lich in teamfights is definitely a lot more powerful. Even though Liquid do have a lot of range heroes that can sort of spread out and still do their damage, I mean, the fact of the matter is that Lich will just be used to zone out Liquid in Trial vs Trial matchup and really deny them so much extra experience. I mean, Enchantress, she can jungle, and Shadow Demon and Gyrocopter will definitely get a bit more experience being a dual lane pairing. Meanwhile, Liquid gonna pick up a Kunkka. So that's gonna be the mid-solo hero going up against Queen of Pain. And this matchup, I'm not too sure who wins it. I've got to imagine Queen of Pain does do pretty well, since she can, you know, zone out Kunkka very effectively with the right clicks, but assuming that Korok does manage to get enough farm and gets enough levels in Tidebringer, he can potentially keep Queen of Pain on her toes, so I've got to think this matchup is pretty close, but maybe ever so slightly in Queen of Pain's favor. But right now, I'm really liking Quantic's trial lane, but we'll see how Liquid decide to lane their own lanes, as right now, I think they might be forced to go defensive, and we'll see if Quantic gonna react by going offensive themselves, or they're just gonna be defensive and trying to get Goldblack as much experience as possible.
10 seconds remaining.
But Liquid, once it gets to the late game, Bulba will have enough farm. TC will be able to pick up a lot of damage, but again, Liquid has to last to the late stages of the game, and IX Mike, I feel like he'll just have a miserable time, since he will constantly be left behind. And there's really another big problem with Liquid is that they really have nothing to hold Quantic in place, and Quantic have two of the most mobile heroes in the game in form of Queen of Pain as well as Weaver. And the heroes who aren't mobile outside of Lich are just tanky enough to withstand a lot of the damage from Liquid, so I don't know how Liquid can really keep control over Quantic. I really can't see it happening. But interesting, the players and teams on the side of Liquid, we're going to have TC playing the Gyrocopter. He's going to make his way towards the bottom lane. Was pulled one south. Korok going to be taking care of Kunkka in the middle lane. Not pulled anything. Enchantress going to be played by Fluff and Stuff, one of his signature heroes. Going to be packing an early Smoke to see to go for an early gank attempt. If he manages to get a Dark Troll or then Net in conjunction with the Torrent, might be enough to kill down Funzy in the middle lane. Bulba is going to be taking care of the nature spot, going for a landing build rather than a jungle build, as he doesn't have Basilius, doesn't have a Gloves of Haste, so he's anticipating that he will lane pretty successfully for the most part. And I mean, I guess I can sort of understand that, since Tree won't really be able to do anything offensive until he hits level 2. Meanwhile, Ixmec is going to be taking care of the Shadow Demon, and he has a lot of regeneration, so looks like he might be roaming around, helping out his team whenever possible, just going to be warding it up. But I'm not too sure how big of an impact he'll actually have in this stage of the game. Meanwhile, instead of Quantic, we're going to have Golbak playing the Tree and Protector. Funzy is going to be taking care of the Queen of Pain, as she was pulled quite a bit of regen, ensuring that she wins the lane, trying to mitigate as much Tidebringer harassment as possible. Sakshka is going to be taking the Lone Druid to the off lane. Lich will be taken care of by fucking Mad with some Sentry Wards, and Weaver is going to be played by Silent. So Gyrocopter with the Haste Rune really can't make too much happen, as Lich going to deny some creeps, so it looks like Quantic actually is going to dual lane it. Really interesting choice, so they want to make sure Lone Druid does have a decent time in the early stages of the game. And that will force the creepy element to be pulled back relentlessly, and yeah, really nice ward being placed by Sakshka, or by fucking Mad, to block off the pulls and block off the spawns, or the respawns of these jungle camps, and that allows Sakshka to play a bit more aggressively and try to get the creep camps in his favor. Look for him to deny as much as possible and really force the creeps in his favor. You know, Funzy already taking a bit of harassment as Ixmec, trying to help out his ally as much as possible, but Funzy with living armor on his side, as well as having a whole lot of regen, just going to be able to right-click Ixmec out of the lane and negate his presence pretty much entirely. But Korok, all he wants is that level 3, because then the Tidebringer cooldown does become manageable. Ixmec taking way too much damage, might be in a bit of trouble if he's not careful, as living armor was popped to him, and Funzy clearly toying with the idea of initiating, but going to decide better against it. But since Quantic know that Ixmec is in the middle lane, they are playing a lot more aggressively with the Lone Druid, because if Lone Druid didn't know where Ixmec was, then he would stay far back up against the combination of Enchantress as well as the Shadow Demon. But Enchantress does have a troll net, and here comes Missile coming in from TC, trying to do as much damage as possible. They will be able to kill off the Lone Druid on the bottom lane. Nice escape by Fluff and Stuff, really sensational micro. And they will also be able to apply a decent amount of pressure towards the tier 1, but no, the pretty much in-stage respawn of Sakshka going to prevent that from happening. But Sakshka getting a lot of experience thus far. Meanwhile, Weaver just pushing the lane as far as possible. Bulba going to be pretty alright in this lane, but will have to be on his toes. Can pretty much teleport out of the majority of Weaver's damage, but still does have to be careful, since he preserves me. I mean, if Trent puts a living arm up on the Weaver, then he can pretty much dive into the tower for free. You know, Queen of Pain once again harassing Ixmec to no end. And if you take a look at the early game CS, Korok definitely benefiting quite a bit from Ixmec's presence, but here comes Lich on the approach. Shadow Demon will pop the Soul Catcher as well as the Torrent. Funzy taking a lot of edge, but there simply is not enough to bring him down with a level 1 Torrent. The Tidebringer almost enough, but nice living armor as well as Salve gonna heal up Queen of Pain, but Queen of Pain has already burned through all of her regen. So far this duel lane of Shouty and Kunkka doing a remarkable job controlling Queen of Pain thus far. Meanwhile, TC gonna approach Sakshka confidently up on the bottom lane, does have a level advantage for the most part. Yeah, is pretty much a full level ahead of the Lone Druid. And that means he can play a lot more aggressively. He has 2 points of flat cannon, so he wants to get as many auto attacks off as possible to zone out Sakshka to the best of his ability. And he knows if Enchantress does rotate in, he won't really need that extra point of Rocket Barrage to really kill down that Lone Druid. Meanwhile, Bulba just gonna annoy Golbak to no end. Golbak only level 2, being 3 minutes in the game, and it is a dual lane, although the only experience he's coming by is from the jungle pulls. As Disruption and Torrent once again going down on the middle lane. Here comes the net, gonna hold Funzy in place. Funzy gonna be in a lot of trouble. He will blink out to safety. Is there a living arm to heal him back up? I think Trian already used it. It is on cooldown, so it looks like Funzy absorbed, or the living arm absorbed a lot of damage, and Funzy looks like he will be able to escape. Gonna get a slow on him, but Blink is gonna come back up. He will be able to blink away to safety. And Funzy just living on the edge. Fucking Mad gonna slow down the troll to the best of his ability. The net will be cast on Fucking Mad. It will indeed. And here comes TC on the assault. Won't be able to catch out Funzy. Will be able to get the kill. Gonna instead turn his attentions onto Fucking Mad doing a lot of damage, but the reliving armor not gonna be enough. 20 damage block just simply not enough at this stage in the game. So really strong early game being concocted by Liquid.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And Golbak, pulls being disrupted, really hurting him out. being only level 2, you can see living armor at level 1 really not as annoying as it is when it does manage to get to late stages of the game. Lone Druid, he's only died once but has only picked up 5 CS, so his farm has been absolutely abysmal at this stage, really being very effectively zoned out by Enchantress as well as TC, so Liquid playing very, very solidly. And now Korok, he's only level 3, but the fact that he's gotten a kill up on the Queen of Pain, that's going to heavily restrict her farm. You can see Queen of Pain is only level 4, only has 1 point to Blink, and only 2 points in Scream, so can't even kill Axeman. But actually with living armor as well as a double-dated rune, he is toying with the idea, but going to decide better against it. He might have actually been able to pick up the kill since Axeman didn't have enough mana for disruption. But Queen of Pain just clearly wants to get control of the lane rather than just play for some risky plays, which might end up failing him in the end. You know, TC going to be enough to single-handedly drive back 2 heroes on the side of Quantic, driving back the Lone Druid as well as the Lich, and so far Lich really hasn't contributed much to this game whatsoever. As Enchantress is going to come in, and they are going to be enough to drive away Sakshka as the Stomp will end up whiffing, but Liquid will be able to apply a bit of pressure to the Centaur, might give up a bit of gold, but no, expertly micro-biofluff to allow the Centaurs to live.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Looks like Dire gonna end up fortifying the structures. Glyph on the side of Dire really not as important, especially when you have Tree on your side, since you have a mini Glyph in form of living armor. And Goldblack just gonna kill off these small neutral camps by himself, trying to get as much experience as possible. And very important is the fact that he's finally hit level 3, so now he has that pretty important living armor, since now it gives you 40 damage block, which is almost enough to cover 1 physical attack. Checking out Weaver's farm, 38 CS, so Silent is getting the most farm in the game, but we'll see how much impact Weaver does have. He does take a while to get going, but if he does manage to get going, he's going to be impossible to deal with, especially with Liquid's lineup having no way to really control him in place. And Bulba getting a lot of experience, but not able to pick up that much farm. Not going to go for the Midas Rush, instead picking up some boots. As Disruption will be used as well as Soul Catcher to hold Funzy in place. They're going to go take a lot of damage onto Funzy, but the Living Arm going to once again heal up. Bulba going to teleport himself in, as they will be able to catch out Lich, but Funzy going to do a lot of damage. Going to kill off Bulba with 1 more auto attack, as here comes Weaver on the offensive, going to counter gank. I expect will be the next one to fall, and they're going to turn their attention to Korok. Korok will end up dying. Living Armor, ladies and gentlemen. What a spell. Funzy would have definitely died, but instead, Liquid going to give up 3 kills. And those 3 kills going to mean a lot more, since Liquid heroes were highly leveled compared to Quantic's heroes when they got ganked. And Living Armor is going to get only more and more powerful as this game goes on.
Middle tower is under attack.
So nice teleport by the Weaver in the end, since Bulba teleported himself. Was able to pick up a couple of kills, got a lot of experience, actually given him, or
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
received a Sentry Ward, or received an Observe Ward. So again, spot out the movement of Bulba. It's mostly just to watch to see when Bulba teleports, and then at that point he might teleport himself. You know, Sakshka has been able to hit level 6. I'm gonna just scout out with the bear. No items on the bear. Again, Sakshka's farm has been limited by quite a bit, but Lone Druid's hero can function reasonably well without items. He's just so damn tank that he doesn't need that many items in order to be reasonably successful. Of course, he gets so much more powerful if he does have items. And Ix might gonna just get bursted down. Weaver, with the help of Queen of Pain, gonna help secure the kill, as Queen of Pain will pick up the last hit with the help of his auto attacks. And now Korok can potentially be on control. Nice block by Silent. Here comes Frost Nova. Sonic Wave gonna be used as well. 1 more click by Weaver will secure themselves a kill. And you can see Quantic just dancing in circles with this mobile heroes. They can pretty much do whatever they want. And there's really not too much Liquid can do to stop him, since their hero is not nearly as mobile. I mean, their most mobile hero is Nature's Prophet, and his only mobility comes from teleport. You know, teleport kind of coming from Bulba. No, he's just going to cancel it, as Quantic looking to defend this tower. Funzy, you can stick around as long as possible, since Living Armor costs next to no mana, but it seems like Liquid gonna try to push down this tier 1 tower. All of Left's groups have died. Will there be Living Armor right into this tower, as Funzy will be driven away, and Liquid will claim the first tower of the game. I'll give them a nice bit of recovery, give them a nice chunk of gold. But still, they're not looking in that good of a position, because Tree continue to level up, getting close to that level 5. And once it gets level 5, Living Armor just going to be even more of a nuisance to deal with than it already is. And Liquid really have not addressed this Weaver problem. Weaver's just been able to do whatever he wants, and even though his farm hasn't been too impressive, he's been roaming very effectively, been able to pick up the slack in terms of a couple of Quantic ganks, and I anticipate him being more and more powerful. He might not even be forced into a Lincoln Sphere. He might be toying with the idea of going for maybe a bit of the damage block with something like a Vanguard, maybe go for a Hood, but really he doesn't need too many defensive items because, I mean, how can Liquid honestly kill him? I don't really see a way. I mean, the only defense he needs is living armor, and Golbak is going to hit that level 5 with the next CS, and at that point, I don't know if Liquid can actually pick up any kills, as Queen of Pain will pick up a solo kill on Korok. Korok died in the bottom lane as Queen of Pain, with the help of Lich, was able to kill him off. It's looking very, very grim for Liquid at this point. Even though it's only 3-6, I don't know if Liquid's picks really match up well against Quantic's picks at all. The only bright spot for Liquid is that Queen of Pain, or Gyrocopter's doing a remarkable job as, well, I don't want to miss a second kill. Looks like Mike just got dove up against and got absolutely slaughtered. This fucking man just gonna teleport himself out saying, "Where are your stuns, Liquid? Your stun is Missile and Torrent." After Shouty is dead, and those stuns take a while to wind up, so we're just gonna teleport out right in front of your face, and Liquid just can't do anything about it. But yeah, the only bright spot for Liquid is TC is getting a ridiculously strong amount of farm. As Quark being pressured away single-handedly by the Weaver, and Weaver has a Magic Wand, has Agility Treads, has a Wraith Band, and I think that's pretty much all the survivability he needs. Now Sashka can start playing a part, has the boot speed up on his bear, gonna take his taunts to the jungle and to the top lane where he's only gonna be pressured by one hero. And Quantic have some appropriate wards as TC could be in a bit of trouble. One Entangle could spell the death of him, with Lich being there as well. And Lich is now level 6, so his Chain Frost bounce is going to make ganking next to impossible for Liquid, since Liquid gonna have to be careful of ganking into a Chain Frost. But Lich does not have a TP. Mike gonna get initiated on. Here comes Weaver. Mike will be the first one to fall. The stuns will be in place. They are gonna be able to bring down Funzy. Yes, nice braced calculation by Liquid, as they will be able to kill off the Queen of Pain. But Weaver just gonna run circles around Liquid at this point. He's just gonna be able to juke relentlessly, and X will be used to try to bring Weaver to justice, but no, the X duration just simply not long enough, and here comes the Chain Frost, only going to bounce once to a Liquid hero, but that one bounce was enough, as Weaver just doing whatever he wants. This is what I was afraid of for Liquid. And Liquid, not looking in good position. They killed off Funzy, but they lost 2 heroes in exchange. And Funzy felt necessary to buy back. He got a bit more experience. And we'll see if they dive in for TC. I think they can potentially do that, as TC picks up a Helm Dominator trying to stack Ancients and feel his gold intake. And gonna rush that BKB, but I don't know how much that'll help. The damage for Liquid is just simply
Radiant's
not reliable.
top tower is under attack.
You know, Sakshka getting some alone time for himself. We'll see if he goes into Radiance or Maelstrom Rush. That remains to be seen, but Lone Druid, again, is very, very tanky, and with the Living Armor, even more annoying to deal with. And I like what Quantic were doing. They know Living Armor is their strength. They're going to make it as strong as possible. They go back so much free experience in the middle lane. And that's going to give him a lot of farm, a lot of money to buy wards, and a lot of levels. And now he's getting dangerously close to that critical level 7 where Living Armor is going to be pretty much unbreakable. Meanwhile, TC going to get initiated on Nature's guys, ladies and gentlemen. That's too long, as TC will get picked off. Fluff and Stuff will pick up a kill, gonna pick up a double kill. Nice position by Fluff and Stuff, but still, TC did die. But they are limiting Queen of Pain's impact. That could have been Mike fighting up against the Soul Catcher Weaver, just simply not enough. The Torrent and Bow will hit square on Silent, as he cannot time-lapse away. Nice recovery by Liquid off the mistakes of Quantic. But the bear is farming up all the while. It looks like Weaver is going to go for a Lincoln Sphere build, so I guess he really fears the X. And I guess you can't really blame him. X Torrent really been reliable ways to lock Weaver in place for a good majority of Liquid. And once it gets a Lincoln Sphere, he will be able to do, again, whatever he wants. Except, literally, be able to do whatever he wants. You know, Bolo, very late Midas, and that is going to mean a very, very late Shadow Blade. But he's starting to get experience rolling, and Liquid, good thing is that Even though they've had a bit of a rough early game, they've still been able to hold on to all of their towers, and once Nature's Prophet does manage to get a sufficient amount of farm, his split pushing will get to the point where I don't know if anybody on side Quantic outside of Array and Spare can really deal with it. Is Liquid gonna smoke up there looking for an engagement, but Sakshika is so tanky, I don't know if Liquid can actually kill him. IX Mike will be able to spot Sakshika, but great position by Sakshika. Position himself into the fog, where the bear will be able to scout out IX Mike. And Liquid, in the end, all they can do is plan a ward and just retreat. But Sakshika getting in position to lock down IX Mike with an entangle. Fluff is still invisible, as I think Fluff is trying to do some bear blocks with his own body. But yeah, the brunt of Liquid's attention should go to Bulba and try to increase his farm as much as possible. And that's why he's not saying his Wrath of Nature for teamfights, he's just trying to get as much gold as possible. We'll probably look to pick up a Shadow Blade. But the Blink by Queen of Pain gonna go in for Korok, as Korok will take a lot of damage, but it should be okay. As Quantic, their damage output is not too high. Their only reliable source of burst damage comes from the Queen of Pain. Their strength comes from outlasting Liquid, and they can do that in spades.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, the Rain taking a lot of damage on their bottom tower. You can see the Dire have a pretty minuscule goal advantage. Experience advantage, not that heavily in favor, definitely nothing to overcome, but significant enough where Liquid does have to be a bit worried. As you can see, IX Mike hasn't even hit that level 6, and that purge pretty much one of the only ways to slow down Weaver for a bit.
Radiant's
And you
middle
can see
tower
Silent playing
is
so
under attack.
dangerously, living life on the edge. Soul Catcher will catch him in place, and Sentry Ward will be dropped. Silent could potentially be in a lot of trouble. He's going to get the Living Arm, but here comes the Chain Frost bouncing all over the place, just wreaking havoc on Fluff and stuff. The Torrent won't be able to catch the Weaver, just too fast, too furious. The boat will manage to land square on Funky Matt's head, as Lich will end up dying, but Silent might be able to clean up the entirety of Liquid. Korok will die. Bulba gonna take a lot of damage. Will Silent just go in and try to end Bulba's life? He's gonna get Living Armed up, and Queen of Pain is there as well, so Bulba just trying to do as best he can. We'll be able to get a tree sprout on him, but teleport on cooldown just too much, and Bulba will end up dying. Looks like Gyrocopter gonna arrive to the party a bit too late. Might be able to kill off Weaver. Weaver doesn't have the time ups anymore, but the second missile curious enough not gonna hit, as the Living Armor gonna negate a bulk of that damage. And actually, Silent just, again, running wherever he wants. And the only thing for Liquid is they're giving up kills, and they're not pressuring Lone Druid as well, so pretty much only 4 heroes of Quantic are playing the game at the moment. Well, 3. 3 heroes plus Living Armor playing the game, but Living Armor casts, or counts as an extra hero pretty much at this point. And Living Armor could dispel a lot of that torrent damage. Time Lapse will be used by Silent to get himself out of trouble. And all the while, Sakshika is just like, please keep leaving me alone, as Korok gonna be forced to use the boat to try to get himself out of trouble. Silent won't be able to be stunned by it, as he will be able to pick off Korok. Meanwhile, TC gonna end up dying. Looks like Liquid overstayed their welcome by a significant degree. And Lich gonna kill him off, and Liquid just getting further and further behind. This is not looking good whatsoever. As Quantic just saying, who needs towers so we can just kill your heroes over and over again. And the thing about Weaver is that he ganks so frequently with that Perseverance, just because it costs pretty much next to no mana. You can just keep down your swords to such a significant degree that it's very, very difficult for them to come back. As Funzy and Weaver gonna once again pick up a double kill. And Quantic are just stomping Liquid at this point. And Lone Druid has even yet to play the game. For that matter, Trian isn't to play the game either. But Living Armor, ladies and gentlemen, such a good ability. And now Silent, pretty much on the back of hero kills. Very close to finish his Lincoln Sphere, 9, 1, and 5. Ridiculous amount of experience up on the Weaver. Checking out the net worth Weaver, 8.1k net worth. You know, Gyrocopter and Nature's Prophet lagging significantly behind. And Sakshika, all that uninterrupted farm gonna fuel a pretty fast rel, considering how pressured he was on the bottom lane. As here comes the boat torrent, but Golbak once again gonna pop that Living Armor, gonna allow him to tank so much damage. Will he end up escaping? He's gonna pop the Leech Seed. That Sonic Wave will be used, as IX Mike will be the first one to die. Golbak gonna die as well. TC gonna go back on the offensive. Bulba just arriving a bit too late, but they wouldn't have been able to kill Funzy nonetheless. So good recovery by Liquid. They end up trading a Shouty for a tree, but more importantly, they removed tree for the next 20 seconds, and that might allow them to spark a bit of aggression. Korok gonna cast an X as well as Torrent gonna hold Funzy in place, but here comes the Chain Frost. It's gonna do so much damage to Liquid. It's gonna bounce to pretty much every one of Liquid's heroes. Oh my god, that Chain Frost putting in work. Liquid getting absolutely steamrolled by one ultimate. Bulba gonna die. And Liquid, they have not lost the tower, but they're losing 3v5.
Radiant's middle
It's just
tower
looking
is under
very
attack.
grim for our American heroes. Silent doesn't even care, he's just gonna go in for Alex Mike.
Radiant's top tower
Alex Mike
is
gonna
under
cast the
attack.
Purge, trying to do whatever he can to dissuade Silent, but Silent in the end will just be forced to retreat. And now the Bear, again, has not played a factor, but is gonna have that Radiance up relatively soon. Lincoln Sphere has been fished up on the Weaver.
Radiant's middle tower has
And now
fallen.
Tree can just look to Living Armor the Queen of Pain, and the Lich doesn't really have to worry about the Weaver anymore. He's gonna be impossible to bring down.
Radiant's
Weaver
top
even has a
tower
Blade of
has been
Alacrity.
denied.
Squawk was able to deny the tower, but Liquid, their items are just simply not there. The goal graph spiraling out of control in favor of Quantic. 10k advantage, almost a 20k advantage of experience in favor of Quantic. This level deficit is going to cripple Liquid significantly, as Queen of Pain is going to finish her BKB. And Silent, again, doing whatever he wants, going to go in with the Swarm, going to catch it on Korok, as Korok going to be forced to use an X as well as Torn, but the Lincoln Sphere going to be used. Disruption and Soul Catcher will be used as well. But Silent, if worse comes worse, can just simply time-lapse his way out of trouble. The boat trying to buff up Korok as much as possible, and Silent is trapped in a bit of an awkward situation. But in the end, Quantic will retreat. But their ultimates have such short cooldowns, like they can re-engage so frequently. Apart from the Lich and the Queen of Pain, but those ultimates. And Chain Frost did a lot of work as Goldblack going to be in a bit of trouble. Will cast the Overgrowth, preventing Bulba from attacking. Good recognition by Goldblack, as he will be able to escape. And now Bulba, with that Shadow Blade, trying to pick up the kill on the Tree and Protector. But is now caught between a rock and a hard place, as he will be able to make his escape in the end, but still, not killing the Tree, definitely not going to be fun for Bulba. Meanwhile, Lich has finished the mecha, checking out the items. Radiance is going to be finished in 50 gold for the Lone Druid. Weaver, Blade of Alacrity, going to likely go into Yasha, as the middle lane, Korok once again being relentlessly harassed. IX Mike going to attempt disruption, but it's pretty much all for nothing. Purge will be thrown down to Lich, just to try and do as much damage as possible. Again, just a pitiful amount at this point in the game. And now Korok attempting to cast Axe and Torn, annoying Weaver, but Weaver just going to get himself healed up once again. Tree has a gem, so now he can spot out Bulba, he can spot out wards, and can just continue to de-ward, continue to be annoying. On the side of Liquid, you can see their most significant item is a Shadow Blade up on Bulba, and that doesn't really mean too much. And also a crucial thing I failed to mention is that TC picked up a very early Helmet Dominator, but actually Quantic were warding off this ancient spot very religiously. And that's why TC has not been able to pick up too much farm in terms of ancient stacks. And now with Aegis on Quantic, probably likely going to the Bear. That Bear will be able to finally push down the towers and finally eliminate any chances of Liquid having, or any chances that Liquid have to move on to the next round, as Fonzie actually will be the recipient of Aegis. Bear is 2 tank, and with Living Armor he's going to be already extremely difficult to bring down. So Bulba not giving up, still applying as much pressure as possible. But I imagine this is going to be a death push for Quantic. They're going to look to end the game off of this. How many Arcane Boots do they have? Only one set of Arcane Boots. But their spells don't really cost that much mana to use.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, is Weaver just doing whatever he wants on the bottom lane? Looks like Weaver's doing whatever he wants on the bottom lane. I think Silent is just single-handedly annoying Liquid to death, and this is really smart play by Silent. He recognizes that Liquid, the only way to combat these death mob pushes is if they split push, but Silent just going to be enough to single-handedly drive Liquid away. And actually going to pressure this tier 2
Radiant's
solely
middle
by
tower
himself.
is under attack.
I mean, if Oda said Tree with OD is enough to make you quit Dota, then I don't know what Tree Weaver is enough to make you do.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Is middle tower gonna die,
Radiant's
bottom tower gonna die as
is under
well.
attack.
And I just do not
Radiant's
see a
bottom
way out
tower
of this
has
situation
fallen.
for Liquid. Bulba
Radiant's middle
not even close to
tower is
pressuring
under
this
attack.
top tower, and even if he does, Living Armor will just be able to heal up to a
Radiant's
significant
structures
degree.
are fortified.
Lone Druid gonna resummon his Bear, finish the phase boots, drums being fished up on Koka, that will just simply not be enough as fluff. Can't even get a creep. Has a point booster, but that's just, again, enough.
Radiant's bottom
As Golbat gonna charge in, Ix might gonna die in a matter of moments. Overgrowth was used as well. TC and Croc gonna be driven back as Kunkka will pick off the Tree of Protector, so there goes Living Arm, but Chain Frost gonna bounce all over the place. Will bounce on TC as well as Croc. A bit of a panic split. That Chain Frost doing way too much work. Oh my god, that Chain Frost buyback action match hit fluff. Funzy will be able to escape, has the Aegis still. And I think this will be the end of Liquid in this Dreamhack tournament.
Radiant's middle barracks
As Wrath of Nature will kill off the Queen of Pain in the end, but looks like once again Silent gonna pick off supports left and right.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
And there with the Weaver, just way too difficult to bring down. Good game, good luck is the call by Bulba, as Liquid recognized when they have been beaten.
Bottom tower
And
is
Quantic
under
in a
attack.
dominating fashion took 2 out of 3 games up against Liquid. And their drafts have just been absolutely phenomenal to witness. They have just been able to outthink their opponents. I think their draft was what won them the game in this game. Liquid had nothing to lock Weaver in place, had nothing to break through the tankiness of Lone Druid, or Weaver, or even Queen of Pain. And Liquid gonna be sent home. Quantic gonna move on to semifinals where they guaranteed themselves a nice sum of cash. I think 25k Swedish kroner at the very least, which I'm not too sure how much money that is. Probably around $1,000, maybe $2,000 US dollars. But Quantic gonna move on. So hopefully you enjoyed that series. I'll be back with the next series relatively soon. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.